Hello and welcome to this special interview with Akash Passey, Senior Vice President, Volvo Buses. Akash, thank you so much for talking to NDTV. If I can begin by asking you about this electromobility strategy of Volvo. We saw glimpses of it at the 2012 Auto Expo. Now you've had good experience in the European market and you're finally ready to roll it out in India. What's the plan looking like?
So first of all, it's a pleasure to be here in India and Delhi today. Electromobility is the next important step. The Volvo Group, primarily through Volvo Buses, has taken over the last 7-8 years. In India, for us in Volvo and Volvo Buses, we've always, of course, been pioneering new technologies and new products since we started here 14-15 years back. And that continues, and I'm happy to say that electromobility is a part of that next step in India. It was in 2011 or 12 when in the auto exhibition we showcased the first global hybrid product in the electromobility range. And since then we have moved quite a bit, and I'm happy to say that we will now start with that step already in India from next year.
So there's going to be a pilot project. Can you share some more details on this?
So first of all, as Volvo, amongst all the global players in the commercial vehicle industry, we are the first ones who have taken a lead in this since 2007, 2008. Today, with over 5,000 hybrid buses running with either Volvo brand or Volvo-owned other brands across the world, we have good experience in this technology, and have now, of course, from hybrid taken on steps into the next modes, which we probably will touch upon later. Having said that, starting in India, the product, of course, as is natural, will be built out of our facilities in India, in Bangalore. And as is natural that when you start, you always start with the initial pilot lot of vehicles, which are introduced so that the customers or the public or the authorities get to feel what this product delivers on the Indian roads. So the first customer in this case is Navi Mumbai, in the outskirts of Mumbai, and they will start the first few pilot vehicles sometime during the course of next year.
In the area of hybrid technologies, you have a variety. You have just a battery, you have the plug-in hybrid, as well as the all-electric buses that you've tested in Europe. Which is the model that you're looking at for India?
So I think in the journey in electromobility, we started out first with hybrid products, which is more a combination of electric motor with a smaller diesel engine, which means that the product in itself is self-sufficient, does not need any external aid. We have then moved on to the next level of technology to improve the efficiency, and that is on electric hybrid, which is already showcased last year globally and will be introduced as a normal production product out of Volvo Buses in 2016. That is again a combination of a small engine, but there is an external source through which we charge the batteries, and we use the operating charging methodology. The third and the final step, of course, is the ultimate game of having electric buses in order to, in a way, create zero pollution. And that is a step taken on by Volvo Buses this year. Our President, Håkan Agnewall, inaugurated that during mid this year in conjunction with Volvo Ocean Race. And the first lot of those buses is running already in Gothenburg in Sweden, which is full electric, based on opportunity charging, and you put a couple of charging stations along the route, which can provide charging in a few minutes for about a journey of about 20 kilometers. And this will be introduced as a product already, as a normal product out in the market from 2017. So in India, we start with hybrid, which is the first step, but it's good to state that globally we are ready already with the next two steps going forward.
What about the benefit to the customer in terms of fuel efficiency? Is that something that you've tested upon, and what kind of benefits will the customer see?
There are two aspects to it. Whenever you go to a normal customer anywhere around the world, the customer talks of life cycle cost. So that is a normal business pattern, be it any industry, including the bus industry. However, what's been happening in the world is the focus on climate change, and that is what is bringing in other technologies. because in a way buses, and especially city buses, are running in the very centrum or in the four walls of a city, and therefore you need to have products which are creating as low an emission or pollution as possible, and therefore our step towards electromobility. So with hybrid buses, our general experience, depending on different places, has been that compared to a normal diesel bus, we are 35% more, it's creating 35% less emissions on the product. This would, of course, depends on the road conditions, on the driving habits, and on different things for every location. And that is what would get established when we start the first pilot lot of vehicles in 2016.
What about cost? Because one of the critical areas is in terms of the battery cost itself. That's a huge factor in terms of the overall cost of the bus. Will that be a factor when you roll it out in India?
It's natural that when a new technology comes in, the technology is more expensive than a standard product. So therefore, the product will be more expensive. As we are coming out with the pilot lot, it's difficult to specify what would it be in standard normal production, which we would be able to say later. But in general, the key aim is that the gain on life cycle cost as well on lower emissions is better than overall the cost of a diesel product. And that is what will be achieved in a good way in this product.
Also, the Indian government has recently announced a FAME policy, which is for faster adoption of electric and hybrid vehicles. Clearly, you want to cash in on this because government support is crucial when it comes to electromobility, right?
It's a good question. It's an unending question or an answer. Sure. And I say that because, of course, when you're moving to new technologies, you really need to support them well. Only then you are able to define with the support the pace of how soon the new technology will get embedded into any country or city or whatsoever. In this case, many countries and cities around the world have taken key initiatives. A large number of them under my portfolio, I see that the governments are very active. They're looking at already 20 to 30 years ahead of how to bring this change to move towards zero emission. As we know, also places like Europe, for example, have already put in legislations or visions in place where they have targets defined for, like other parts of the world, or where they want to get with this subject. So many countries have done this well in advance already for the last 5 to 7 years. Case in point is China, where I would say that the largest number of electric buses probably are sold today and will continue to be, because that's the largest bus market in the world, where the government has really stepped up to move and make this step change in the technology around the world. Then I'm really happy to see that India does the same, and we have FAME in place now, and that is something we are actively in touch with the government, getting good support. And I think there's a clear policy defined now where there is good motivation given for at least the players in the commercial vehicle and especially the bus industry to take a step forward. I do hope that the government would continue such policies and would even increase what they have from today, so that the technology shift towards such products or zero emission products is much faster than what we are intending to do.
What about from a demand point of view? How is the India growth story shaping up for Volvo buses?
I would say that globally, India has always been in the roadmap. It's one of the largest democracies in the world, as we know. So therefore, it's hard to overlook India. However, I would say that, of course, as a country, we have our challenges. There are years when the economy is up. There are years when the economy is down. So in general, I would say that since 2012, in the global space, India has had a low economic development, and that has shown with, I would say, on the business results also for a number of global players, including ourselves in India. It's good to see that since last year, the government is taking a lot of active initiatives to bring in concepts like Make in India, concepts like smart cities, concepts like FAME, which encourage global manufacturers like us with focusing more on India. For us as Volvo, of course, we've been here for 17, 18 years. The first Western player to make a base here and already have over 7,000 to 8,000 people working for us. So I'm hoping that last 3-4 years, which have been tough years on the business side because of the overall economy being down, we'll see a change. We can already have the first feeler out in the market where we see that while city bus segment has been still dominant over the last few years, we see the coach market and long distance bus market coming back on the diesel portfolio, and that's a business we're looking forward to. India, incidentally, also happens to be the second largest in terms of volume bus market in the world. So it's very natural for us as Volvo to have this as one of our main hubs.
Akash, thank you so much for talking to NDTV.
Thank you.